Weeks after talking about his plans for the creative industry and pointing to the decisions made by the Senate president. Here on Breakfast Central, Senator Elisha Abbo has alleged that his sack was due to power play over his and 4 other senators' non-support of Godswill Akpabio, the Senate president's bid back in June. The Court of Appeal in Abuja on Monday invalidated the election of Senator Elisha Abbo, representing the Adamawa North Senatorial District. The court, however, declared the candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Amos Yohana, as the rightful winner of the senatorial election bid.
Now, of course, we were still meant to be speaking with Senator Elisha Abbo this morning, and we're still trying to establish that connection. And if we do, we will be able to hear from the horse's mouth. We did, in the first half, speak with Monday Ubani, who's SA legal to the Senate president. And of course, he did share his thoughts on it, and of course is asking that Senator Elisha Abbo apologize to the Senate President Godswill Akpabio for those allegations, because of course the Senate President will likely take legal action against him. That's where the conversation currently stands. But for context, Senator Elisha Abbo accused the Senate President Godswill Akpabio as being responsible for what is currently going through, and that is his sacking from the Senate by the appeal court. And we asked yesterday, what the connection is, what the link is between the Senate President and the judiciary. It doesn't seem like there should be one. And it's very strange to hear a Senate President being accused of maybe manipulating the judiciary against a fellow senator. Really, really strange. And so, he was, we expected that he would, be joining us. So we expect that he still will join us this morning to clarify on those allegations and help Nigerians understand exactly what he might mean by Godswill Akpabio, the Senate President, being behind his sacking by the Senate, by the courts rather. Does the Senate President now influence court decisions? Is that what he's trying to say? Or is there something else that we're not aware of? Remember, he also said that he's not the only one that would be, sacked from the Senate. He said Senator Ojiuzo Kalu and a couple of others. He said there were 5 of them that didn't support the emergence of Godswill Akpabio as Senate President, and that all 5 of them will likely, be attacked and be sacked just like this. These are his allegations, but of course, nobody knows, if any of these things are true. The Senate President Godswill Akpabio has responded and said that he has no hand whatsoever in Senator Elisha Abbo's sacking by the appeal court. And also to put, extra bits and pieces to the story, in the last 24 hours, or let's go back actually, before the last 24 hours, the last time that we spoke with Senator Elisha Abbo here on News Central's Breakfast Central, he did allege or make mention that there were some senators that weren't very comfortable with the way that the Senate President was running the shows in the Senate. He spoke about how some senators were grade A senators and grade B and other grades of senators, and how they weren't given committees that were, seemingly befitting yes. of their, status, in the Senate. And that new senators, people who just got into, the Senate, were being given, committees or made to head committees that, normally would be given to grade A senators. If you remember, he did, make those statements. Let's quickly have you watch some of the things he said in the, last time we spoke with him. And then, of course, I'll share a little bit more.
A part of any impeachment plot, but meetings have been going on. And some of these meetings, we are not happy with the way Senator Akpabio, the Senate President, is running the Senate. We are not happy. And I can name certain incidents, 1, 2, 3, or 4 to 10 I can name. But for want of time, let me start, maybe I can name 3. 1, Senate is a place of seniority. You have ranking in the National Assembly, just like you have seniority in the military. When that ranking is not looked at in maybe allotment of committees, there will be problem. Secondly, there are people who are for and against Senator Akpabio during the run for the Senate presidency. When time came for the allocation of committees, he allocated the entire grade 1 committees to his loyalists. If you look at this, for example, I will show you a document here. If you look at this, these lines here that you are seeing, this one, they red up here. All of this from number 1 to number 39, the red you are seeing. All of us are pro-Abbo people. You can only see 2 green, which are actually some sort of Yari people, and the yellow one in the center is the one that voted for Yari, but was brought in by somebody that is in government. So the entire from number 1 to number 39 is Abbo people. And even the vice chairmanship of the committee, this side of the committee, out of 39, he only gave 12 slots to the opposition as vice chairmanship. So you took over grade A committees, and even the vice chairmanship you denied us, and you won't have peace. Whose peace?
Just like he said, he won't have peace. Whose peace is he referring to? Well, he basically was painting a picture of what he, claims is the mood in the Senate amongst the, in quote, grade A senators. And, also in proper context, Godswill Akpabio, who is the current Senate president, only joined the Senate in between 2015 and 2019. And then, of course, became minister between 2019 and 2023, and then returned to the Senate. And now, of course, is Senate president, in 2023. He was governor of Akwa Ibom State between 2007 and 2015, and so this seemingly is his, the major part of his political career in Nigeria. Of course, the major part. But it's not just Elisha Abbo who has made similar complaints about how Godswill Akpabio may not be running the affairs of the Senate in a way that they are used to and the way that they are comfortable. Yesterday, we saw a video of Ali Ndume, also a senator, stage a walkout after he was, stopped or ruled out of order, yes. Exactly, by the Senate president. So,
in this one, though, he hasn't quite, I don't know if he's categorically said anything, right? But his actions have said something.
No, but it's not just, so I'll let you finish. But it's not just him walking out because he was ruled out of order. Aside him complaining, there were 2 other senators who spoke yesterday also, who said that they were uncomfortable with the way that certain bills were being passed in the House by Godswill Akpabio that didn't go through the regular process. And that is, there are certain bills that are passed, they are very, very important bills that if they're going to be passed, a message is sent to every senator to be present so that they can get the 2/3 number in the Senate before such a bill is passed. For example,
the reopening of the Nigeria-Niger border.
Yeah, exactly. Or the amendment of the Constitution, something like that. They would send a message across that everybody, please be present on these dates so that these we can take a vote. There's also certain bills that will be passed by everybody who's currently present. They don't need to invite every other person, but every other person who's seated rather that day in the Senate House will pass the bill, 2/3 rather of the people present. But they are saying that there are certain bills, including money bills that have been passed by Godswill Akpabio, that didn't go through, any of all that process, and they were very comfortable.
And in this one too as well, Ali Ndume was trying to make a correction to a bill that had been passed. He had noticed some errors. I was trying to make reference to that they needed to correct these errors before moving ahead. Before the Senate president called him to order based on the fact that these bills had been, they had been deliberated on. We've moved past there. You can't bring us past. Now, Senator Ali Ndume angrily staged a walkout. He had raised a point of order citing Order 54 of the Senate Rulebook to draw the attention of the Senate President to his handing of affairs in the chambers, which were against the rules. Now let's take a look at this video. That's a clip of him. He, of course, whilst he was in the middle of his conversation, they're trying to explain what had happened. Ali Ndume did say something in the line of, this is the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, guided by laws, rules, and procedures. If in the course of proceedings at any sessions errors are observed, they must be corrected before forging ahead with such proceeding. But Akpabio, of course, intercepted him by saying, having ruled on issues raised, it cannot be revisited, and consequently ruled Ndume out of order. Yeah. Senator Ndume, of course, okay, there was another senator who attempted to sustain Ndume's line of argument, and he was also swiftly ruled out of order. So yes.
I think it's 2 of them, actually.
Yeah.
The Senate President quoted Order 54 as his reasons. But, also to put in the proper context, Ali Ndume is the senator representing Borno South Senatorial District. He's been in the Senate since 2011. He actually has represented Borno South since 2011. He was a member of House of Reps from 2003 to 2011. So he's a career senator.
Yes, a professional senator.
Senator is what he has come to do.
And now this now takes us back to the conversation of Elisha Abbo and the argument where he said that
there's a place of seniority.
There's a place of seniority and there's an order by which things are done. People's years, sort of experience in the Senate must be recognized and applauded. And we hear that the senators went into a closed door meeting. We hope to be able to get reports as to what the decision in those closed door or in that closed door meeting was. But like Mr. Monday Ubani did say, it's important that the Senate be carried along. One way to frustrate a Senate president would be that the members of the Senate are not in accord. If you're not in accord with a house divided in itself cannot stand. How exactly are you expected to pass bills and make the necessary change if the senators themselves are not in line with the Senate president? Mr. Albani dispelled that position or that rumor of senators not liking his leadership style, but I'm hoping that on the show in the coming weeks we can have more senators, get more reactions, find out what the true position is, and see how this all plays out.
In the next 24 to 48 hours, I'm sure that there will be more revelations. Ali Ndume, of course, likely will maybe have his say, address the press on what happened yesterday. We probably will also hear from the Senate President Godswill Akpabio or his representatives. Also expecting to hear from Elisha Abbo or his legal team, because now they have a case to to challenge in court, I believe, to keep him in the Senate, or to have him completely step aside. So
that's one case.
Yes.
The other case would also be a case of defamation of character.
If there is,
if you cannot prove that, then it will be a case of defamation, because defense defamation will be truth.
But that's if Godswill Akpabio is suing.
Well, his lawyer has said that they would sue if an apology is not tendered and the statement, I think, withdrawn, I guess.
We'll see if it does happen that way.
Yes, we will.
These are the current, situations, and we once again will be doing our best to pull in Senator Elisha Abbo to join us. Again, he was meant to be here with us this morning, but for some reason we're not able to connect with him. We hope that we're able to pull him in to join the conversation and share with us what the latest is concerning his current challenges in the Nigerian National Assembly.